What's up, everyone? We're back. Another Web3 rundown. I was actually away for a few days and come back, and obviously, there's always a ton of news out there. Joe, how you hanging the past couple of days?
Things were really up and down. So glad you're back to stable up the markets.
Yeah, exactly. I think I sent you a message. It's great to come back after a couple of days because there was obviously quite a bit of volatility out there in the market, and for good reason. Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably saw the conflict between Iran and Israel, and that has escalated, and obviously it's de-escalated up until this point right now. So we actually saw Bitcoin get to, I think, around $98,000. Whenever I was away, Joe, I was watching it pretty closely. Really thought it could be a nice buying opportunity. A close friend and family member of mine who is very savvy in the stock market. This is over the weekend. We were watching all the news about Iran and Israel, and obviously, when the stock markets are closed, you don't see a lot of reaction in that market. But Bitcoin in the crypto market obviously took a little bit of a hit because doesn't like uncertainty. And there was some uncertainty between Iran and Israel. We're not going to get into the whole geopolitical world there because that's not what we talk about. But the point is, a ceasefire has been installed. And I think the war bottom is behind us. I don't want to jump out of the gate too soon, but it feels like it's behind us. And the market thinks so as well. Taking a look at some of the big boys out here, Bitcoin, Joe, it's chugging along at 105,000. Feels like I haven't even been gone. Last time we did a show, it was right around this price. You wouldn't have even known what was happening in the war.
He said it. You nailed it. The only thing this dip was good for was me winning the our company's Bitcoin prediction pot, which I won, by the way, Brian.
Oh, you won this past week?
I won
Oh,
because we knew that macros affect crypto, and I was like, well, we may have a war over the weekend, and I went full bear, which I never do, and I won, and everyone else was not as bearish as me. But then we popped right back up to exactly before, like 4 days, literally 4 days ago. So basically, nothing moved except for the more the trench warrior stuff. The meme coin markets moved a lot, but the majors are looking pretty solid.
yeah, they look great, man. 105 Bitcoin. Where's Solana? $145 Solana. Ethereum at 2,400. Just some really strong numbers there. Now, we did see some major volatility in the world of AI and crypto, in the meme coin world. We were just talking about this before we jumped on the show. I was personally really watching which meme coins were going to kind of bottom tick off of this negative news into the positive news. And, we'll talk about with our private community. We'll talk about a little bit on this podcast, but there's definitely some signals for certain memes that react very strongly. And then when you talk about bullish news, Joe, I had to share this. This tweet from Tyler, or more specifically from the state of Texas, is outstanding. We've known this for a little while that Arizona, New Hampshire, Texas have been talking about Bitcoin Reserve, but Texas is going to become the first state to actually buy Bitcoin. They're going to take $10 million dollars and finally fire it into the Bitcoin bags. Really exciting. And I know we've talked about this for a while, but that's big news. We have literal states buying Bitcoin, and then you walk down the street and you have people that still think Bitcoin's a scam or a Ponzi. So where are we at here? What is Bitcoin? Why is it? What's Texas doing? This is a great move, in my opinion.
Texas is following the playbooks that many states have, deployed. They're smart. They're looking to shore up, money for the community. As states have the budgets, they gotta, they just follow where the smart money is going. And or who's smarter than Jamie Dimon? Who's smarter than BlackRock, who owns everything underneath the sun? They're all going heavy into crypto. 70% of Fortune 500 companies have a crypto project. I just saw right here, it wasn't even on a list. Fiserv launched a stablecoin on Solana. Fiserv is a huge company, and I mean every day something's popping off in the world of stablecoins, and Bitcoin is the main driver. A lot of people utilize that to buy Bitcoin. So just imagine states buying it and the people with stablecoins buying Bitcoin. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, it's a great time if you're in these markets. There's always something happening. I'll tell you what. I took a couple of days off. and I feel like I lived a lifetime in the crypto markets. Oh, I want to share this as well. Anthony Pompliano, Pomp, who is a very, very big Bitcoin bull, is always on CNBC, is always on crypto Twitter, very educated in the world of crypto. He is creating a firm or create a firm to buy $750 million of a Bitcoin treasury. And what caught my eye here, Joe, is it says the Treasury Bitcoin bubble grows by the CNBC article. And I have to admit, there's some truth to that. I don't think this is a bad move by some companies to buy Bitcoin, states to buy Bitcoin. I'm obviously a Bitcoin bull. I see the path for it to appreciate and continue to appreciate. But it feels like we wake up every single day and there's a new company announcing a Bitcoin treasury. Metaplanet, who did you know Metaplanet is, you might know this, is like connected with hotels in
Oh, I didn't know
Japan.
that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, they're like a hotel chain that you can like buy Bitcoin. But it's something along those lines. I had no idea. Everybody knows them, and their stock's been going up. Everybody knows them because they essentially been just buying and
Right.
holding Bitcoin. And they bought over 1,000 Bitcoin, reaching over a total of 11,000 Bitcoin, 10% to where they want to get in their 2026 goal. And then just gonna run off a few more. Just over the past couple days since I've been gone, Saquon's communication plans to raise 384 million through private equity and debt deals to buy and add to a Bitcoin treasury. We got Coral Capital, a hedge fund execs raising over 100 million to invest in BNB and essentially mirror Michael Saylor's Bitcoin strategy. We have Michael Saylor's strategy buying back into Bitcoin. I think he picked up another 245 Bitcoin last week, probably around 21 million. We got Trump Media buying and adding to a Bitcoin treasury. We also have DFDV, who's officially bringing its stock on chain to help Kraken on Solana. We're going to talk more about that later in this show. But just some big headlines in that treasury Bitcoin bubble caught my eye because I don't want to say it's a bad move because I don't think it's a bad move, but anytime that you're using debt to buy more Bitcoin, it makes me personally nervous. But it's bullish for our bags at the end of the day.
Yeah, you missed one. I'm going to share it because I did a market update on yesterday. I think it's pretty good info in a way. Big, look at his giant face. Grant Cardone, about thousand. So you just talk about Anthony Pompliano and all these other companies. Well, this guy came out the gate buying a Billy. He already bought a Billy. He's looking to do 3 to 5,000 more Bitcoin this year. So he's going to do 5 billion for probably a total of $6 billion. And he is a billionaire himself through real estate. And he's trying to combine real estate and Bitcoin as the two best asset classes. I can't argue with him. So seeing Metaplan, a hotel company, makes sense because he's self-proclaimed like the first USA real estate company to deploy the strategy. So you called it a bubble. It might not be a bubble because for this bubble to go away, I mean, everyone has to stop buying, and all the big money is probably not going to stop buying. Another thing that happened, you mentioned Kraken, Bitcoin staking. And when you're away, you might have saw this. And what's funny on Babylon, you know what? And we talked about this with our community 2 months ago. 2 months ago, we talked about this on telling our community how to stake on BTC, and now Kraken's rolling it out, and it's not available in California. Those MFers, let me tell you, man, it's available in most states. It's probably available in Colorado. Let me see if it is for you. Not that you live there or anything, but they banned some states for some reason. But yeah, Bitcoin is going to move, and I think you have some price prediction for us.
I have some price predict. Oh yes, well, not my personal price prediction, but I could get
Of
on
course.
board with this price prediction. And the Perma Bull himself, it seems like he's always on our rundown shows. Michael Saylor is predicting Bitcoin's gonna hit 21 million in 21 years. Some nice round numbers. Does feel like he's just throwing out some massive numbers out there, but he has had some pretty convincing presentations talking about why he thinks Bitcoin could get to a million, 5 million, 10 million, 21 million. And I think at one point it was like 69 million over to 30 years, but 21 million in 21 years. If that happens, I personally don't think these are treasury Bitcoin bubbles. I'm just calling out what CNBC is saying, and I could see where they come to that conclusion because it's some aggressive movements. But Saylor saying Bitcoin will hit 21 million in 21 years. Joe, would you be crying yourself to sleep at night if that happens?
Cry myself to sleep, man. How old am I gonna be? I want to be crying. I'm not crying now. No, once you get a certain age, you're just like kind of like, okay, this is the cards that I'm playing, and I'm gonna roll with it, or I'm gonna go all in. So yeah, 21 million. Will it change my lifestyle at that point? I don't know. Robots might be taking over the world, flying cars. We got robo taxis in Texas. It's a crazy time. So 21 million might be nothing in 21 years.
That's a good point. The way we print money, you never know. Jumping over good old Circle.
Oh my God.
Yeah, your Achilles heel, kind of mine too, because
Ouch.
we've talked about it on the Rundown show. We don't want to talk about it. We got ranged out last minute, and Robinhood didn't tell us until 5 hours after. So we should have just aped in right after that. We
Yeah.
should have just went hard, but I was too salty, and that's not something you should do when you're investing. But now it's becoming a pretty popular short, to be honest with you.
Mm.
I've been hearing a lot of people talk about because they almost flipped Coinbase
Whew,
Circle,
interesting.
and I think it might have flipped Robinhood. That's something we might want to check. But at the end of the day, it flipped the USDC in market cap. Absolutely crazy stuff here with Circle. At the end of the day, you didn't have to buy Bitcoin to make a fortune. You just had to go back into the dirty, greasy stocks and buy Circle and connect it with stable coins. And we've talked about it with our private community on this show, why stable coins are a buzzword, what the thesis is behind it. And Circle's absolutely printing right now. I think it's actually even higher than this as of right now. But some crazy news. And then one of my favorite tokens out there, we've talked about in our private community as well, Hyperliquid is dominating on the on-chain derivative space with a record market share, 77% of decentralized exchange perp dominance, and its token hitting an all-time high. It's a powerhouse of a coin. I think I even said on the rundown that I see a path for this to get to $100. That is not financial advice because, markets can go crazy in all different directions. But my gut tells me that we could get to $100 per hype token eventually with a dominance of over 70%. It's tough to see how that couldn't happen. But congrats to anybody that's in Hyperliquid, in the hype token. I think we're just getting started here. It sort of surprises me because it's not the only place that you can get on-chain derivatives and perps trading, but people like it, and it's their platforms actually. I think you need a VPN to access it from the United States, so there's some catalyst there for the price to go even higher pretty quickly. But any thoughts there on Hyperliquid? Have you been following? I know I've been following it a little bit closer, but have you been following it closely at all?
Yeah, through a proxy, through you as a proxy, hype. That's my exposure to hype. I didn't get in early on the train, but a lot of my friends trade perps and they tell me about it every day on Solana. I can see why it's taken off. People love to gamble. People love to leverage. I wouldn't necessarily call it gambling if you know what you're doing. And that's the chain for it. Sorry, there's a chain for everything. So Solana is the meme coin. I guess it didn't win the leverage perp trade trend, and that went to hype. It came out at the right. I'm not sure if it came out at the right time, but it got the attention and it kept it. So hopefully Abstract can do that with the consumer world, and that's a great sign. I love seeing winning chains that are here to stay.
Yeah, me too. It's good to see. I think they're trying to become more than just a perps trading platform, and I think they'll be successful. I mean, they have a lot of attention right now, and in the world of crypto, that's all you need.
Yeah, yeah. There's attention, demand-driven economy, and crypto is all what it's all about. And the main driver, well, I wouldn't say the main one, but one of the biggest segments is, of course, meme coins, which we know and love. It had a rocky week because of, the war and everything that's going on, uncertainty, rate cuts, and everything. So at a V-shaped bottom, bam! On my market update, we went down like 10 billion, and we close back up to the 10 billion. We almost gained it back. I knew it wasn't going to gain completely back, as Bitcoin was leading, but a lot of the majors did do a little tiny bounce. XPX 6900, one of the ones we know and love, bounced pretty well, close to 30%, with your original giant win coming back strong. So we'll talk about some of these. One thing I want to talk about is you remember you asked me about Labubu and what it was like a few weeks
Yeah.
ago, and I'm sure you see it now everywhere, right? Like I'm
Ev
sure you're hearing about it.
Everywhere. I'm a big sneakerhead too, and all these sneaker shops and sneaker people are talking about Labubus and trading Labubus, and I was like, I swear. I didn't even know what this was a few days ago. I might not even be saying it correctly, but
Yeah, you're
it's
saying it correctly.
yeah, it's alive right now. Labubus and I know my wife and kids absolutely like Jellycats, so I need to see about the Jellycat coin.
Yeah, so Labubu is going to hopefully be around for a while. They're like doing more volume than like Mattel and or other toy companies. It could be a Beanie Baby, it could be a fad, but one thing that experts are talking about is how they've tapped into the degen side for females, which have never been tapped into before. So they are going through the NFT mystery box, blind box things that we've been through, right? As sports people do, and people who go to gaming conventions, enjoy to like those mystery boxes. So that's this whole fad, but it doesn't seem to be going away. They might have like future plans for it and to delve into like their universe, sort of like a Pokemon. So you can get in on Labubu in America in terms of stocks. Like if you want to invest in a Pop Mart, you would have to go over to Asia. But you could get in on a meme coin, which has been popping on and off, and that's why I showed that. And it's just interesting to see because I was like, man, this meta, if it comes back right around here, I was like, this 90% drawdown looks good. I didn't get in, but these are the trends that you want to win. Here's one that you may or may not know when you were away. This was hilarious. This was started between an attorney, a crypto attorney, and Tolly, who's a famous Web3 personality. And basically Tolly's like, if there's not a I don't know how to pronounce it, Gorbagana blockchain within 48 hours, he's gonna go crazy. And someone actually launched the coin. So it pumped high and it's not dead. 25 million dollar liquidity. And there's transactions on this new, not Solana killer, but basically it's a fork of Solana, but it's called Gorbangana as a joke. And it might have some life in it depending on what they do. So that was a very interesting meta that took off throughout the weekend. And I actually heard about it at sub 1 million, and I was like, this is stupid. And then ran to 60, and I just completely missed it. Tell me you didn't miss it though.
No, no, yes, I missed it. I did see it being talked about quite a bit. Whenever you see a runner, we haven't seen a lot of meme coin runners like that over the past couple months. Not like how it was in January when it was just crazy. You'd have 100, 200 million runners in 24 hours. But this Gorgabana, I think the very interesting thing about this is how it was truthfully be a meme coin, behind it, and then someone actually created a real product. And that's where we see that morph from meme coin to a real Web3 working product. Is it going to become something in the future? Well, I think that's where the gamble is right now. That's why we saw it retrace, but Tolly's talking about it. People are building a Gorb blockchain. So I'm excited. It is on my short list. I have zero exposure to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy any or not. I probably need to do a little bit more research on like who's involved and what they're building. But the biggest takeaway from me is we still have those runners here and there, but it's really a meme coin launched. The right people start talking about it. The right reputable people start talking about it, and people start building real world products on top of it, and it could run hard. So really interesting stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff actually that when you're gone. But well, I'll actually have you talk about that afterwards. Rect, let's talk about Rect real quick, one of our biggest winners. So I really like this coin at this price right here. I wanted some at 100 million, but I wanted to see if we were going to go into war or not. We obviously did it, and it did a slight, bounce back up, 10, 12%. But I think we're establishing a new floor at 100 millis. Bounced a few times here. Look, this giant red candle. I mean, I don't think I need any more confirmation to get in at low 100 million. I told our community, I believe this goes to two, 300. It can get to two, 300 million. I think people are just waiting for those initial, another catalyst to get to the next point in price discovery. But we love Rect. I don't know if we should even put it in a meme coin category anymore. It really is a brand coin, right? It's not really a meme. It is a meme and NFT project. How would you categorize this?
Yeah, I think Ovi's calling it a brand coin. It was obviously started out as a meme coin to start, years ago, I should say, whenever it first released, but it is morphed into something bigger and badder with the Rec drinks. I got my most recent shipment of wrecked open sea. I think it's like grapefruit flavored or something along those lines. I was trying to decipher what it was. I couldn't find it on the can, but they're crushing it, man. They're doing a great job, and it's a founder that's dedicated to the space, has a loyal community and following, and that's really all you need. And I don't hate it at these price levels either. 100 million seems crazy, but they're shipping every single day, new news, new products, and it's just exciting to be involved.
Yeah, they are. And I have a whole box of their drinks behind me. I might get some more. Let's talk about Pump Fund, which is the leading meme coin token launcher. They've delayed their token launch again. So multiple times now, supposed to be 25th, but obviously it's not. And a lot of people now, I don't know what's the temperaments here. I have some trench warriors saying that this is not good, the delay, and not good, the token overall. But just wanted to point out that it was delayed. So I'm not sure seeing any ripples as of now. I see the trenches are still kind of moving up and down.
Yeah, I'm not too turned off by it, to be honest with you. I mean, it would have been great to get a nice injection of liquidity with an airdrop from the pumped off fund token if they plan on doing an airdrop, which I think a lot of us are assuming they will be doing. But pumped off fun, yeah, it's delayed, and hopefully it's delayed for good reason. It sounds like, they're trying to battle some legal issues to get this off right. It is what it is. The market didn't seem to react too strongly. It kind of got overshadowed by this whole Iran-Israel conflict. At first it was like, oh, pumped up funds delayed. Markets didn't react, and obviously memes went down with the rest of the market because of the conflict. But we seem to be rebounding quite nicely. Before you know it, it's going to be the middle of July, and this token's going to be, popping off.
Yeah, I wanted on some. I wanted to show this because you might have missed this, Brian, when you were away. So Jupe had some FUD. They stopped their voting, which I mean, I think it was a good thing because people were just voting for dumb stuff. People were, putting in dumb proposals in there. And the price has reflected the leadership. And this is a decentralized exchange with a foundation that utilizes some of its treasury. So I'm not sure if it's more the macro markets that determine the price more so than, the leadership of this decentralized exchange, but it seems like it's affecting the markets. And the reason I bring this up is because notably Jupe is the main DEX for Solana, and the Jupe price has fallen. And the reason I bring this up is because I think there's a good opportunity for buy real. So you know the meta. All the centralized exchanges are merging with decentralized exchanges. Bybit is launching their Solana decentralized exchange called ByReal. And how do I get in on this, Brian? I want in on these ByReal tokens if there is going to be a ByReal token.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how we get in, but we need to dig a little bit deeper. Byro, I'm writing it down right now. I'm going to do some major research right when we get off this.
Yeah, I think that's some alpha for anyone watching. Bybit absorbed what a $500 million hack like within 4 weeks. Like what? These guys are printing money hand over fist. They sponsor F1, not like that's a like a stamp of approval, but they're doing stuff. I wouldn't bet against them. They move markets, and if they're doing a DEX, kind of like how Coinbase integrated Aerodrome, this could be, and Jupe going down, ByReal could go up. I'm just saying.
I like it. I like that thought.
Cool, cool. Yeah, the last question for memes I had for you, which I mentioned earlier, was I've been hearing what you said earlier. Meme coins on AVAX is popping off. What you got with your ears to the ground?
Yeah, probably a couple weeks ago, we were talking just, we talk about all the time on the show. We have a private community. We try to help everyone, buy on different chains, explore different opportunities. And I was like, man, AVAX meme coins definitely seem alive. They seem a little bit more stable than some of the trenches in the Solana streets. I don't own a ton of meme coins on AVAX. I actually own a decent amount of AVAX. I think it's a very interesting coin, and the meme coin world on AVAX seems to be growing. So if anybody's really trying to find, I don't want to call it like new meta, but it's definitely an interesting area if you want to get into meme coins that is not less volatile because meme coins are volatile, but less trenchy, I should say, if that's even a word, compared to Solana. It's maybe a middle ground between what Ethereum mainnet is and what Solana is. So there's definitely some opportunities on AVAX. Where did you hear? I know we talked about a week or two ago. Where'd you hear the buzz about AVAX meme coins?
I'm in some chats that are plugged into different blockchains. As you know, I have Solana guys, and then um, I have a bunch of people that just are in the DeFi world. And then recently, um, AVAX. Yeah, I was just like, "What's Brian's been talking about this? Let me see what's happening." That was just curious because it's a new meta, and I was familiar with AVAX during the DeFi summer. So yeah, hearing meme coins pop up there. Hopefully, that staying power maybe doesn't. I was just curious.
Yeah, Avalanche. I mean, Avalanche is a great layer one blockchain, so there's no reason to think that that token and some meme coins and probably some other applications can't run hard on AVAX. I do think we're gonna probably spend a little bit more time talking more about AVAX with our private community over the next couple weeks and opportunities on that chain because I've been keeping my eyes pretty close to it. But yeah, long story short, there's opportunity. There's opportunity anywhere you want to spend your time. And I say this all the time. If you're not paying attention to the crypto market right now, it's definitely time to start paying attention to it. It doesn't mean blow your life savings buying into random meme coins, but we have major institutions, we have states, we have corporations, we got millionaires, billionaires adding Bitcoin and now other cryptos to their strategic reserves. It's definitely time to start paying attention. But I get it. It's a lot to swallow. So it's a lot to chew on and really digest. So that's why you should check out our private community where we try to make it as digestible as possible. Before I kick it over to you, Joe, for the kind of the last segment, I do want to talk a little bit about the AI crypto sector. I'm a freaking huge fan of this sector, and it has just been chopping with everything else. But I think the integration of AI and crypto is just such a no-brainer, and it does seem like some of the mind shares kind of chopping around. Some of the market cap world, like FETs, Farcoins, Virtuals, still love how Farcoin's labeled as a AI coin. I mean, it was derived from an AI world, but still some green in market cap. We bounced pretty nicely here at about over 13% in the past 24 hours, up to about 9 million, 9 billion with a B, excuse me. So, and there's some engagement happening. Different chains are definitely involved with the AI crypto world. It's just still a young sector in the world of crypto, but there's no doubt that AI is going to be a major point within just our everyday lives and the crypto world. It's just kind of picking the winners. But right now, a lot more attention's been on some other types of meme coins and obviously the majors. And anytime we get missiles in the air or tariff talks or anything that's slightly volatile, market caps and coins like this seem to get hit the hardest. But at the end of the day, this is where you want to start paying attention. If you like AI, if you like crypto, what coins bounced with this positive news of de-escalation of the war? And I think we just gave this call recently to our private community. You nailed it. Up 18%, virtuals. Fartcoin, even though it's not really an AI coin, it gets classified up 16%. FET, we've given as a call up almost 10%. So there's definitely some clear winners out there, and it doesn't even have a. There's not a lot of people talking about it right now. So to see double-digit movements in this AI crypto sector, just kind of pay attention to which ones are popping off, which ones are interesting, which ones are actual real projects building, and you could really find some winners. Because I wouldn't be surprised that in a couple months that we're talking about this market cap much higher than 9 billion where it sits right now.
Yeah, I dove deep into the AI agent world within virtuals, and there are clear winners during these times in turbulent times too. And if you guys want to take a sneak peek at that launch pad, it's specifically Pump Fund for AI agents. And there's not just meme agents, not just glorified chat box, there's actual products like finance products that are backed by like Fortune 500 ex CEOs and whatnot. So that's a very, what was the meta that went internet capital money markets or something like that? It's similar. Like there are actual incubation within virtuals also. So there's money being given to these projects. So AI world, definitely don't take your eye off of that because that is, the sizzle word of this year, probably, maybe even for the next few years. So AI definitely a place that will, once there's a little bit more, I would say, integration in the product, because that's what's the hiccup in the real world now is just integration in the product. Then, these AI agents will have more lanes to go into. Because right now it's just hitting a dead end at Web3 trenches, right? But once it goes into like actual like rec drink product, type of thing like integration into stores, like integration, then the AI agent world is going to be like, I mean, I'm already seeing it in my billboards. I drive by in the Bay Area. It's 99.9% AI agent billboards. I'm sorry, AI billboards all the time. For the first time ever, and I drive this twice a week, I saw an AI agent billboard. I was like, oh, here we go. We've been talking about AI agents for like a year here. And then there was a billboard that's talking about, hey, here's how you manage your AI agents. And it's starting to pop off in the real world now. People weren't talking about AI agents in real world for a while. They were just saying AI. But once that happens, then, we're going to be ahead of the game here. So definitely excited for when that comes out. All right. Let's go on over to, if you watch this far, you are a true degenerate, whoever's watching this far. I was looking at Pudgies this last weekend. It was sub 9. And I was like, oh, it was almost under 20. I was like, if it goes under 20, I was looking at Blur loans. I was like, how do I get a loan? And then I saw the CryptoPunk news and I was like, I made a call out in a market update. I'm not sure if you saw it. I was like, if it hits 75,000, Brian's gonna buy one on the spot. So CryptoPunks did dip from 100 to 75,000. I don't know what this price is now. It's probably like 90,000, $95,000, $96,000. Yeah. So it bounced back a little bit, right? It was down for a long time. I don't know what the sell off is from, but so we're just looking at some of the major trades, and that's kind of what's moving right now, uh, pretty much in the NFT world of things. Before I kick it over to you, there is a few more things that should have, I wouldn't say should have moved markets, but we have a Pudgy Penguin feature on Times Square and ringing the NASDAQ bell. And that's because Van Eck launched a digital transformation ETF. So do they hold Penguin there? I didn't look into it too deeply, but I probably should. Um, but the Pengu price, it didn't move up. Like you mentioned it didn't move up off the recording, but it did move up like 15-20% from the bottom off the war news. But of course, everyone was waiting for that macro versus just a cute Pudgy here. Like if it was Pengu, it was actually Pudgy Penguins ringing the bell, I'm sure the price would have moved a lot differently than that.
Yeah, that was very surprising. We saw what a hint about that on Friday of this past week. Again, I was away, so the days are kind of blurring, but I remember we were kind of like, what's going on with NASDAQ and a Pudgy Penguin? And these two worlds are absolutely colliding. It's amazing to see Pudgy Penguins ringing the NASDAQ bell. Super fun. A friend of the podcast, friend of Crypto Mavericks, Matt Bartlett there. Love to see him and what he's building out there at Van Eck. Just exciting times. And I think we're going to have more headlines like this every single day. Pudgies are obviously one of the gold standard NFT projects out there. I mean, you're talking about buying one for 25,000 bucks. And it feels like a steal, which is crazy because it's a NFT project, which if you ask 9 out of 10 people are going to say NFTs are scams, but little do they know that one of the most popular projects are ringing the NASDAQ bell. And then you mentioned CryptoPunks down 30% in like the past 10 days. Really not a lot of reason, I think, behind that other than it being extremely volatile in the markets. We had a little bit of a sell-off, but still one of the blue chip projects out there. I would still probably my grail of all grails to own from an NFT standpoint. So, let's get back to 75K and we'll have some fun on this show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we don't wish for war, but I was actually hoping for a dip if we had more uncertainty. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. So Pudgy didn't get any lower. We're keeping an eye out for everyone. Last bit of NFT news. NFT Project OSF, like we mentioned earlier, is a brand coin, and this is what we're talking about. They sold out. They had a party on the rooftop of 7-Elevens. They put the drinks in the stores. They sold like 2,200 cans within those 2 days, the most ever within those 7-Elevens. Like the 7-Eleven guy couldn't even believe it. So the people showed out for this, and they got paid. Every you spend $10, you get 100. I mean, God, let me tell you, man. I'm telling you, crypto, they just hand out money, hand over fist, get inside the industry. It's like, I don't know, man. OSF has he's winning. Is it $100 in meme coins or I mean, I'm sorry, brand coin? Or is it $100 cash? I don't know. I was actually thinking, Brian. I was like, how do I get someone to go there for me in LA to buy it? Like, I think my one friend who in LA just traveled to Asia or something, so I couldn't get it. But so shout out Rect. They're in New York. I messaged OSF. I was like, hey, when you coming to San Francisco, bro? Like they're in New York in OpenSea. They're doing an abstract party. in New York, and I was like, dang! I messaged my New York friend right away. I said, hey, get here, get some abstract, get some free abstract points. But that's why I think they can go to 200-300 million if he keeps pushing like Luca, and he has the Luca playbook, and he's in abstract. So I think they could get to 200-300 on the right conditions.
Yeah, I can't deny that. I could see it going even higher if we have just some pure meme coins with zero utility and all that's behind it is, I mean, the utility is the community behind it. And when you have these people that are just not willing to sell and they're continue building on top of these meme coins and they run to billions of dollars, it's hard for me to see why REC couldn't be one of the most successful coins out there because they're not just a meme coin and their community is great. They're tapped into the market, they're doing big things, but drink sells out in a matter of minutes online. You and I aped into it as hard as we can. Have cases of it over here. It tastes great, the sparkling water. And now they're in 7-Elevens, the largest chain around. So in LA at least, and I'm sure it's going to continue growing. And 7-Eleven's not going to, tell them not to come back if they're having sellouts in the matter of minutes. So I think they're making the playbook for a lot of these meme coins turned into brand coins. Almost what we were talking about a few years ago, what NFT projects should do. And now the whole world's kind of meshing together. NFTs and the meme coins, how they were an NFT project, migrated to a meme coin, and they're utilizing both the pieces of technology to, sell Web 2 products to the normal public. And if they have a good Web 2 product, what can I say? So, and they have a loyal community that's going to buy it up. You don't need much to move the needle. So, congrats to everyone involved with Rect Guy. I mean, if you had one of their Rect NFTs during a snapshot, you actually got equity in the drink brand. So, awesome stuff. Have you yeah, you've tried the new drink, right?
Yeah, I was about to buy a case. I might still do it off of eBay, to get all the flavors, bro. So, yeah. Are you drinking one right now? Oh, I thought you were
No
drinking one right
water. No,
now.
it's like kind of like I like them and I don't want to like drink them because we're collectible guys too, so it's like makes me feel weird to like open it, but I've enjoyed it. My favorite's been that abstract apple. When we see each other in a couple weeks here, I'm definitely bringing you a few so
Hey,
you
if you
can
want
have some.
more, we could split that. It's two cases on eBay for I got it for underneath retail. So retail
Uh,
is what, 160? I got it for 120, bro.
Yeah, well, the crazy thing is I don't hate that. We should talk about it offline a little bit,
Okay.
but both times I've bought these cases, I've spent like $70 for a case, but I get $100 worth of wrecked coin that so
All right. Rebate. Yeah.
you get like a rebate. So it's like they're
Yeah, yeah.
paying you to buy it, and I'm like, the math isn't mathing. But I like this. I like this. But it
Yeah.
does work. I mean, it's they have a very unique process. I know traditional finance people out there are probably scratching their head, like, what are these bozos talking about? How's this even work? But it is. It's working. And if you want, excuse me, if you want to learn more about crypto, the world of Web3, meme coins, NFTs, Joe and I are talking about this stuff every single day. We have a private community where we dive even deeper. Like we're talking about AVAX meme coins. That's something of interest to us. So we want to share our knowledge, our connections with our community. Obviously, jump in, take a look. The link's down below. Until next week, Joe, I'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you guys next week.